Hi, class. Hope all of you are doing well and you feel refreshed out of after Thanksgiving break. And here I am going to talk to you about. I tried to not make this very long, and this is what I would like to tell you that all your persuasive speeches, practice persuasive speeches, have been graded. So you can go to Go React and actually go to practice persuasive speech, and you will see that beside every speech I have. Of course, it's just going to be open to you. I haven't opened it to the whole class, but I have provided you a comment. And please work on that comment and resubmit your, I would say, submit your final persuasive speech by December 5th, which is Sunday, December 5th by 11:59. So that's the first thing. The second thing is few things that you have to, and I've mentioned this to you, some of you, while individually, but you, when you're recording your final persuasive speech, make sure you're in a standing position, make sure you have your note cards, have, if you want to write a few things, not, it shouldn't be a whole speech, just some pointers, some of a few, your few points, maybe five points in each index cards, and practice your speech as many times as possible so that you are totally enthused about presenting your speech and totally completely ready. So practice it as many times. So you need to be in a standing position, not sitting on your chair or reading it off the computer. I know that none of you will do that, but just wanted to mention it is against academic integrity. So please make sure that you are following the rules here and you are in a standing position like I am. This, you see the wall here, it is about 6 feet away. So if I have to do my speech, I would probably go back. We'll take this out of your way just to show you. Maybe not, wait 1 second. Out of your way, I'm about 6 feet away from the camera. You can see me till my knees, and I have the index cards, and I would probably, if I would have been taken this out so that I have enough space to move and talk and have a dialogue with you. The whole intent is to have a dialogue, all right? And if we are reading off the screen or reading off from completely like completely memorizing a speech to such a point that it just seems just coming out and we are not in a flow, and we are not even waiting or pausing or even trying to create a situation or create an aura where it seems that we are having a dialogue, then that's not going to be the best approach for us. So we need to make sure that you are having a dialogue, you are having a conversation with the audience, because that's what we need at the end of the speech. We need the audience to connect with us, and you need to have through your delivery skills, through your content, through your eye contact, through your gestures, you can really create a very deep connection with your audience, and you're doing a persuasive speech. So you are coming in as a mediator of change. The first speech that you did was about your profile speech, a chapter from your life that you talked about. Then your second speech was again about an experiment that you run for 2 weeks, and then you came and taught the class about this particular experiment and the concept of behind it. And this time, the speech, and I wanted to mention this because I did see some of you using your own personal example, which is wonderful that you did it, and it's a great starting point to your speech, and which actually shows that you are you're how invested you are in this topic. So it actually you did very well when you did that. One of the things is that you need to also go beyond that, because you are persuading an audience, and the audience is going to change. You're trying to change their beliefs and values, perhaps. So the audience will in order to do that, you not only talk about your own personal experience, but you also get in a wide variety of sources. For example, you get some people who have talked about this issue. Perhaps there are some leading scholars or leading doctors or scientists who have run experiments in which kind of supports your point. It could be from maybe a lay testimony where somebody who has gone through this problem talks about it, all right? And that adds value. Sometimes that adds value. Sometimes getting an opinion from somebody who has a tremendous amount of authority in this topic, that adds value. Sometimes even a person who has gone through a problem, talked about in your speech, just a pedestrian, a lay person, that could add value. Some research studies, some experiments that have been run, that could run value. So numbers, testimonies, lay and expert testimonies, your own testimony, all that is going to create a really rich texture, and it's going to establish the importance of your speech, and it's going to really show the other person who's the audience here that this topic is happening. This is a huge topic, and you establish the need through the way your research has been curated. Okay, and that's what you do in a persuasive speech. Okay, so if you've done that, you may have heard a comment from me that that was done well, or that you need to work on those things, on that aspect, if I just see one particular source that you've talked about. Now, again, I just did talk to you about, placing yourself away from the camera. 5 minutes is what you have for your speech. So make sure you fill in those 5 minutes, all right? If you need more time, then maybe we can do a 30-second, 5 minutes, 30 seconds, but not more than that, all right? So if you are seeing that you're finishing your speech at the 3 minutes, and we all have some, recording devices today, record yourself and see how long is it taking you to do the speech. If it's a 3-minute speech, if you're doing well, then I wanted to hear, I probably hear about 60%. If it's 40% of the speech, I haven't been able to hear. You don't want to do that. You want to fill those 5 minutes very effortlessly, very smoothly. So that, look at the time, all right? And wherever you're filming yourself, I try to film myself when I'm in daylight, but that can't happen always. I actually bought a selfie light here, but nobody needs to buy that one. And actually I bought it, but I hardly use it. I have a basic lamp here, and I just turn it on. It just lights the whole, lights my face, the whole, actually not only one part of my face, but like overall, it just lights it up. So it's important because I would like to see your facial expression. I would like to see that you're not, I'm not seeing an aerial position like this. I'm looking at a straight view. So those are things that you need to be conscious about. All right, now moving on to the next section. I will give me a second here. I'm going to talk about our next section here. All right, so we will now be prepping for our, here we go. We will now be prepping for our argumentation and debate speech. That's the only thing that I want you to know, that once your persuasive speech, that's going to be done final. You've already worked on it. You just have to make a few changes here, then little minor tweaks here and then, and submit it on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. That's December 5th. Now, from today onwards, we're going to start a new segment, which is argumentation and debate. And what we are going to do is we will be, talking about how argumentation and debate is done, and we start it today, and we're doing it a little ahead of time, but that's okay. And then we should, with this segment, it'll end. This is what I want to talk to you about, is that this debate speech will happen in two sections. So you'll have a debate part 1, and you'll have a debate part, there'll be another part 2 segment. So right now, I just need you to focus on the part 1 part of it. It is going to be based on argumentation and debate. All right, so here we go. I'm going to stop sharing, and I will straight away get into this section about argumentation and debate. And here we go. That's the slide. All right, so here it is. So when we think about argumentation and debate, we usually think about it is that's the way popular media makes us do it. And it's sad that we do it this way, that, when you are, that you're arguing, you're fighting, or it's a debate situation. So who wins the debate? It's always like a competitive thing that comes to your mind, one up, one down. And that's why, that's why most people don't, they don't like, they're not very enthused about it, because some people don't like to have, they think about arguing as fighting and they don't want to get into it. But that's not what an argument is, and we know that. Argumentation and debate is a very, the starting point of argumentation debate is persuasion, right? We know that. We've done what we've talked about Monroe's motivated sequence, and today there's another model that we will be looking at, and it is called Toulmin's model of argumentation. So what happens is, again, as I just mentioned, that's the way most people think about debate, is like, who won the debate? That's the way popular media wants us to think. But that's not what the whole purpose of an argument is, or debate is. It is always about not, who wins the argument. Yes, as a debate coach, I myself have, taught debaters strategies that can help them understand or come back at their opponent, and get a hook, or understand how do you counter argue. So because and I think about it more as a technique, and a technique to win a debate, which happens as in a, when you think about a debate competition. But if you think about why a debate exists, a debate just doesn't. The whole purpose of a debate is to understand the position of the if, especially if there are contending positions, conflicting values, conflicting ideas. What happens with a debate is that you would like to understand where the other person, whose belief and values are different than yours, where is that person coming from? That's what. So you in a debate situation, you always, are you going to come to a consensus where you start agreeing or get converted, or with the other person? That doesn't happen so easily, just through one debate. But at least what happens through debate is that you at least get to see where the other person is coming from. And that's a great starting point for any understanding to happen, just to see, because you're able to place yourself almost, not in a violent way, but in a more sympathetic way, that you're able to place yourself in the other person's position. And you are and that kind of changes it. That kind of changes and say that, okay, this person is doing this, he's saying these things because maybe the lived experience of that person has been slightly different. I haven't experienced the world like he or she has experienced, and that's why he or she is saying this. I understand where the other person is coming from. So give me a second, class. I think all right, so this is 1 second. Okay, that's fine. That's a text that I got it from a student. Okay, so that's if that's the end, or the purpose of what an argument or a debate should be about. Now, again, another thing that I think I should mention to all of you is, when you have a debate or an argument, you will obviously, when you choose your own topic, you'll see that you'll choose a topic where let's say you choose something like whether schools, whether college education needs to be free or not, all right? And you said yes, and let's say one of you says yes, college education needs to be free, all right? And the other person says, no, college education doesn't need to be free. Why should it be free? So then what happens is, and then there could be another person who's on the fence, doesn't know, all right? These are the three possibilities that can happen. Now, when you're talking about this topic, you're actually not only talking about just college education and the policies around it. You're actually talking to the person whose beliefs and values are different than yours. So, there's that texture to it. So you're actually talking to an individual who has a very different worldview than yours. So how do you talk to that person? How do you make that other person understand your worldview? right? So that's what happens. That's where the disconnect happens, because we try to talk about it from the very tactical. This is what colleges are doing. This is what students are doing. This is what happens in the job market, but it's actually coming from a very different foundation for both the contending parties. And that's what we need to really look at when we are arguing. All right. So most of the times we don't. So if you think about this, is that our beliefs, I just want to have a little bit of it, and I don't want to make this video very big, but our beliefs are always very, it's based on our experience, all right? So right after we are born, maybe after we understand, not right after, but after we understand the world, the world functions in this way, the way the world is, mapped around our power of observation, that's when it starts, the belief systems gets activated, right? So one of the biggest influencer for us is our parents. Maybe it could be if we believe in a religion, maybe our religious institution, maybe some family, extended family, or some friends, or maybe the media, whatever is being fed to us. So as in consumers or as individuals, we're constantly being fed by the external sources. So then what happens is we try to view the world the way they want us to view it, and that kind of kills that authentic voice of ours, right? And and we develop a belief system where we go through different experiences, and and the way the experience has worked out for, let's say the experience has been positive, we if the experience has been positive, we try to put that in our box of beliefs, because it just makes us feel safer, better, and things that we have been fed by the media, we hear through our parents, media, religious institutions, all of that. But that experience, whatever is being fed, that has not been a good experience for us, then we don't want to make it a part of our belief system, right? So because how the brain thinks, if you think about the way our brain thinks, brain is always trying to do self-preservation. So anything that feels uncomfortable, anything that doesn't make us feel good, we don't want that to be a part of our belief system. So it's really, what the kind of belief system we have could be something completely out of our control, could be something that should not be. We need to actually reassess and understand whether the belief system that we have, is it inclusive, is it making us understand the world better, or is it making us shut different diverse sources and shut conversations, and making us hate a few things that that we don't like. Is it being productive for us, or is it being unproductive for us? So that's the belief system. And values is something very future oriented, or something that all of us would like to see. For example, there's some common values like love. We would like to see that in the world: love, peace, brotherhood, family. These are some common values that we have. And again, even like beliefs, values also need to be assessed. Are the current values that we have, do we need to put some more in, some more values that we have not really thought about? Tolerance, okay, dignity, some more values that we need to put it in our box, or some values that we have really thought we should be thinking about that in the highest category, that needs to go lower. So all of that happens. And again, my belief system and values it's going to be different than maybe somebody who was somebody who's from a different country. I mean, let's say somebody from West Africa who's born in the Kalahari Desert, speaks Swahili as the only language, sees the world very differently than I do. Maybe both of us, somebody of my age there looks at freedom in a different way, because my lived experience and my value for freedom is going to be perhaps different than hers. So we are competing with so many different cultural contexts, different geographies, different mentalities, so many things. And then we have these big topics that we feel that everybody should understand or should subscribe to this view, when we don't even know how many different other ways of, how the audience is actually thinking about it. We just come with ours, right? So that's where the moral arguments and chaos and argumentation fails. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, because I do feel it's very relevant for us to start thinking about different beliefs and values before we start creating an argument and start presenting our argument to an audience, right? So this is the slide that I have for you, and argumentation and debate, just like Maslow's or Monroe's motivated sequence. We talked about a 5-step process here. This is argumentation. I'm going to be talking about an argumentation model. This has been done by created by Dr. Stephen Toulmin, and he's a British philosopher. And he actually went to courtrooms, and he would hear lawyers talk. And he said that, I'm going to create a model of argumentation that will that any person, you don't have to be a lawyer to use it. Any person can use it, and to argue, to create an argument, to debate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the technical jargons, legal terms out, because nobody needs to know all of that. But I'm going to take the best essence of the way lawyers argue, and I'm going to create a model out of it. So this is what he did. He created this model. This is a 6-step process, and I'm going to talk to you about it. It is data, claim, warrant, backing, modifier, rebuttal. Okay, and this is what I'm going to be talking to you about. So when you think about, I'm going to show you another one. So here, so when this is an example, it just makes it easier, but I'm just going to, just wanted to share this slide with you as well. So when you're talking about data, it is the evidence that you are providing. What kind of evidence do you have? What is the proof? You can call it data, evidence, proof. It's almost like, if you watch a murder mystery and you're watching it for the past the show is going to end in an hour, and you watch like maybe 45 minutes of it, and then you start thinking about who the killer is. You probably have several options, but through your thinking, you come up with your own conclusion. That based on the evidence that I've seen, I think so and so is the killer. Similarly, in an argument, you start, or you can start with a claim. I can say that so and so is the killer because of all the evidence that you can gather, or you can say this is my evidence, and you start with the evidence and then tell us who the killer is. That's your claim. So data is basically the evidence, the proof, we also call it the ground that you need to have to prove your point. Okay, so and the claim is the conclusion. The conclusion, for example, here, who the killer is the conclusion that you gather from all the evidence that you've watched in the murder thriller. So now every argument will have a claim. For example, your claim could be that that college education should be free. That could be a claim, and then you give us all the evidence in the world that actually supports your point of view or your claim that college education, yeah, it has to be free. All right, so that's what you do. Then you have warrant. And this is what Stephen Toulmin says, that you came to a conclusion, right? After watching that 1 hour or 45 minutes of that murder thriller, you came to a conclusion that so-and-so is the killer, right? What helped you? Why? The why part of it is what helped you come to a conclusion from the data that you have heard or seen. Well, there's an invisible and magical process that happens, sometimes very invisible it is almost implied, and it doesn't appear. Sometimes it does appear very visibly in the argument, sometimes it doesn't. So, when you make a jump from the data to the claim, you do it through a process, which is the magical reason that everybody can do. when they hear when they hear the evidence, as you just saw murder. You don't have to take this class to understand, who the killer is in a murder. When you watch a murder mystery, there's a magical process that goes into your head, which is what we call as reasoning. Reasoning is warrant. Warrant is reasoning. All right. So that kind of makes you take a leap from the data to the claim. All right. So Dr. Toolman made sure that the warrant is not left unsupported. All right. So he made sure that, because that's one of the most excuse me, one of the most important part of your argument. He made sure that there is no way that your warrant is going to be wrong, your reasoning is going to be wrong. So he created another place, which is called another point, which is called backing. The backing, what it does, it just supports the warrant. Let's say you say that I'm giving you another example, is that Michael Jordan is the best basketball player. Okay, and you prove us. I don't know why I chose this example, because I don't understand basketball. But anyways, I know that I have students who are a lot of students, athletes, they love this topic. So let's say that Michael Jordan is the best athlete. You give us enough of proof, evidence to show that he is the best athlete. And when I hear your proof, I come to a conclusion that, oh, well, he is the best athlete. So there is some kind of reasoning, it may be the number of championships that he has won. And you say that, the number of he has won, that he is, I take it even further. Let's say Michael Jordan is a better basketball player than LeBron James. And then you tell us that because he's won more championships, and that's your reasoning, then I will say that is winning back. What backing will do is it's going to support warrant, and what backing does is it's going to say that the number of championships a person wins, the higher number shows that the person is a great player. All right. So that means that your reasoning is correct. All right. So it kind of supports the warrant, and that's as simple as that. The modifier is shows how sure are you. Okay, so I might say, in most probably, Michael Jordan is a better basketball player than LeBron James. So I'm not 100%. I said most probably, and maybe I'll say most certainly, or after careful consideration. This kind of shows the strength of it's a verbiage, it's a word choice that shows the strength of your argument. Rebuttal is when you present. I'm sorry, you present something that goes counter your or shows exceptions to your claim. Give an example here. This one is it's a mouse that I bought from Amazon Marketplace 5 years back, and I think this is the best mouse on Amazon Marketplace. I'll give you my evidence, and I'll say that this has been working for 5 years without any technical glitches. This is very light. This is ergonomic for me. This is available on Prime, so I get free shipping. This is it requires just AAA batteries, and the battery life it runs on very little battery. It's been going on. I changed this batteries about 3 months back, and it's still going. So I would say that this is the best one. And then I say that this is the best mouse that's available on Amazon Marketplace. However, I say that this mouse may not work if I dip it in water, or if I run it on a very hard surface. Now, dipping it in water, or if you might say that, why would you say that? You're trying to tell us that this is the best mouse. Why would you say that? I would say that this doesn't make my argument look weak. It just makes me look as if that I've done my research. I know the pros and cons of this product. I know that that there are some exceptions where I've done my research. So it just shows me as you trust that person more when it just makes the person more real. There's more trust in that on that product, or the person who's selling you the product. And again, make sure that the two claims that I gave you, dipping it in water and running it, who is going to actually dip it in water? Or who's going to run it over a hard, very undulated, indented surface? I don't think so. I mean, what are the chances? So even though I have given you, just can you give me a second, class here? Hello? Tala, can I call you? I'm kind of recording a session. Can I call you back? No, okay, thank you. So yeah, so I had a student talk to me. All right, so now what I will, yeah, so I gave you the exceptions to the claim, and so what are the chances that somebody would actually dip this in water or do anything else, or run it over a hard surface? So even though I've given you those situations or exceptions where this might not be the best choice, but that's not going to deter somebody from not buying this mouse. I don't think. Those are pretty weak exceptions to the claim. So that's what happens. Okay, now I will show you a clip. All right. Okay, here we go. I will show you a clip, and I will, give me a second here. I will show you a clip, and give me a second. I think I queued it, but give me. I'm going to show you a clip where I show you President Obama's speech on, this is a 2 to 3 minute clip, and it's pretty short, and I want you to hear the whole 3 minute speech, because there's data there, there's warrant, there's data, there's claim, there is warrant, there is backing, there is qualifier, and there is a rebuttal. So I will have an exercise for you based on what you watched. So make sure I will put it in the discussion forum here, and I will actually do it right now. Okay, and you will have to respond to it. Okay, so here we go. Actually, let me put it on the discussion forum. I hope I can do that. Yeah. No, just 1 second. Right here. You know what? Let me just do it not in the discussion for a minute. All right, let me do this way. And I'll keep this open for everyone. So I'll call this, let me share it with you and do it this. Okay, so this one, class, you need to respond to this by Toulmin's argumentation, Toulmin's model of argumentation, and I would like you to respond to this by here we go. I'm just looking at the by the 12th. All right. And to this open peer review. I set it up by the 12th because I want to give you a lot of time, but that's not how I would have really intended it to do, because I wanted you to kind of do it earlier than that, but I would suppose that you would try to do it earlier than that. But you know, I just 12. I'm sorry, here we don't want to do this. Okay, so maybe not. Oh, 1 second, class. Due date. Okay, so here we go. This is what it's created an assignment, and all right, here we go. So this is what I want you to do. You know what I think? Just having a little bit of a delay here in terms of internet. So I'll just talk to you about this, and then in a next video I'll show you what the assignment is. Okay, so just bear with me here. I'm going to show you how it is done. All right. In my next one, I'll probably show you what the assignment is. Okay, just right now, just watch this one, and next one I'll tell you what you need to do. Okay. So here we go. Oh. Yes, got it. Finally got that. Yeah, I got it.
Kind of sense we can make of this clip from the speech. Implicit because he can count on as a reasonably aware person to be able to fill in the blanks.
When dictators commit atrocities, they depend upon the world to look the other way until those horrifying pictures fade from memory. But these things happened. The facts cannot be denied. The question now is what the United States of America and the international community is prepared to do about it. Because what happened to those people, to those children, is not only a violation of international law, it's also a danger to our security. Let me explain why. If we fail to act, the Assad regime will see no reason to stop using chemical weapons. As the ban against these weapons erodes, other tyrants will have no reason to think twice about acquiring poison gas and using them. Over time, our troops would again face the prospect of chemical warfare on the battlefield. And it could be easier for terrorist organizations to obtain these weapons and to use them to attack civilians. If fighting spills beyond Syria's borders, these weapons could threaten allies like Turkey, Jordan, and Israel. And a failure to stand against the use of chemical weapons would weaken prohibitions against other weapons of mass destruction and embolden Assad's ally, Iran, which must decide whether to ignore international law by building a nuclear weapon or to take a more peaceful path. This is not a world we should accept. This is what's at stake. And that is why, after careful deliberation, I determined that it is in the national security interests of the United States to respond to the Assad regime's use of chemical weapons through a targeted military strike. That's my judgment as Commander-in-Chief. But I'm also the president of the world's oldest constitutional democracy. So even though I possess the authority to order military strikes, I believed it was right, in the absence of a direct or imminent threat to our security, to take this debate to Congress. I believe our democracy is stronger when the president acts with the support of Congress. And I believe that America acts more effectively abroad when we stand together. This is especially true after a decade that put more and more war-making power in the hands of the president and more burdens on the shoulders of our troops, while sidelining the people's representatives from the critical decisions about when we use force.
Okay, so let's see what kind of sense we can make of this clip from the speech.
All right. So just to give you an idea, I wanted to actually show that, and I mean, anyways, just ignore the part about the assignment right now. Just do what just listen to this, why I wanted to show you. I'll talk to you about the assignment in a little bit, but this is what, this is an excerpt of an argument. And this is Obama's little 2 minute, actually almost 3 minute bite regarding going to Syria and attacking Syria. All right. So I just want to give you a little bit of guidance here, and so the whole what I'm going to use this to kind of show you how Toulmin's model of argumentation has actually happened in this whole speech that you heard. Okay, so you can go back and again you go back in this video and again hear the speech, and then actually after I explain this to you, then I'll go and tell you what you need to do. All right, so so that's what's going to happen. All right, so now you heard the speech, and Toulmin's model of argumentation is present. All right, it's present in the speech. So if you think about what Obama was the first read is that he talked to you about can go back, hear it maybe once or twice or 3 times or 4 times or 5 times till you get it. Okay, so this speech happened when Syria was going through the Assad regime, and there was chemical warfare going on, and President Obama claim, based on the whole evidence that you heard, he had a claim, right? So if you think about mapping out this whole speech into data, claim, warrant, backing, and modifier, and rebuttal, this is how it's going to play out. So the whole data that you've been fed is that through the whole argument, 3-minute argument that you watched, is that Syria is doing chemical warfare, and this is against the international treaty. This is women and children are targets, of course. People are losing their lives, and if we let them do what they're doing, then we are actually endangering our allies, Turkey being one, and because they are very close to Syria and they may be attacked. Our soldiers, if we get into a war, then our soldiers are, if US gets into a war with them, then our soldiers are going to go through chemical warfare. Then some terrorist organizations may feel that it is okay to use chemical weapons, and there'll be a complete chaos. So US feels that the situation that Syria has created, it is a national threat. it is a threat to US's security, and US needs to go to a war with Syria. And war, as in US will now do a targeted military strike. This is the claim. With all the data that you heard, he says that because of all of this, US will now strike Syria, do a targeted military strike on Syria, and unless the Congress doesn't, he wants to go through this, and he knows that the Congress may not be able to back him up. So if the Congress doesn't back him up, then he's not a tyrant, he's not a dictator. He works for the people, and he will do things that what the people want. And so that's why Congress exists. And so he will not be able to go through or do a targeted strike on Syria if Congress doesn't back him up. So that's the whole argument, if you think about this. So if you think about, what the evidence is, the evidence was all the things that he said, like against international treaty, against, our allies are going to be in danger, our own soldiers are going to be in danger, because now they have to face chemical warfare. And he says that US is under threat, and he uses that as his reasoning to go ahead and stop Syria from doing what they are doing, practicing chemical warfare, and stop them, and by doing a targeted military strike on Syria. So if you think about the whole the warrant, the reasoning that he uses is primarily that US is under threat. US is under threat. Now, based on the evidence, think about, is this reasoning completely correct? Did US get valid threats from Syria? Or is US preemptively striking because US may be the next target? Syria might. What if Syria now targets US? So is actually US in threat, or has Syria actually threatened US, or is the decision to go to war with Syria based on fear of what if Syria gets into a fight with us? So before that happens, we have to stop it. So the warrant is tricky here, right? It's again depends upon, you got to think about it. Did the US, if first of all US didn't get into a war with Syria, we all know that, but was it justified for US to go get into a war? Was there, because based on the argument, it was based on, if you just think about on a lot of things that our soldiers, if war does happen, then our soldiers can get affected with chemical warfare is huge, right? We know that that it not only kills the current people, but it will have effect on maybe 3 generations later. So does Obama provide sufficient evidence to prove that US is under threat, or is Obama evidence, is the evidence enough? Does our reasoning, or does his reasoning really prove that US is under threat? Is that the reasoning that has been given to us? Then as you can see, that reasoning or warrant is always backed up, right? There's always backing. And backing doesn't mean that it's additional evidence, but backing means there's enough proof to justify that warrant is correct. Warrant here is, the warrant or the reasoning here is that the US is under threat, and it's going to retaliate. If a country is under threat, what do? Then you go and get into a war. So if this is questioned, if backing what it does is it tries to look into it and see whether yes, it is true. And is what backing did here, if you think about it, it says that Yeah, I mean, it could be, it's all of it was based on if. So backing would say that yes, if Syria could get into a war, because the relationship with the US is not that great. Syria could get into a war, could use chemical warfare, because this is not a speculation. They are actually using chemical warfare. They could bomb our allies, and that is this is it is US is could be under threat, because it's backing also happens through societal assumptions. We already have, it may not appear completely in the argument, but it also works on, as I said, out of prior history and societal assumptions. We have, as a country, suffered through 9/11. Maybe if 9/11 could have been stopped had we struck the terrorists before 9/11 actually happened. We had several signs that is going to happen, but we did not. So the backing is going to say that, you know what, Warrant is absolutely correct. That it needs to be done. We know that 9/11 happened. 9/11 would not have happened had we tried to nip it in the bud. So right now we are going to nip it in the bud by striking Syria before they strike us. So that's what backing does. It's based out of more of societal assumptions, prior history. So this is how backing is supporting the reasoning that yes, US is under attack. Now, if you want to counter argue and if you want to debate this, you can say so many things that this is not a valid reasoning. You're basing it on what if. Has there been a threat? Like have they said that we are getting into a war situation? Maybe not. So that's what, I just told you about the evidence. I told you what the reasoning of what the claim is, what the evidence is. I'm sorry, what the evidence. I told you first about the evidence, then the claim, and then I told you about the warrant of the reasoning. I just now told you about the backing, and the modifier is after careful consideration. I think the US will be going to do a targeted military. That's a modifier, which basically shows the strength of the argument after careful consideration that US will be doing a targeted strike on Syria, unless this is the exception to the claim that I don't operate. Obama doesn't operate as a dictator. He can only go into a war with Syria if the Congress, who are the representatives of people, if the Congress backs him up. If the Congress, which he didn't get the backing anyways. So if the Congress doesn't back up, then this claim is not going to be true. So that's the exception to the claim. So I just explained this to you, how in this 2 to 3 minute speech that you heard, you heard the whole how Toulmin's model of argumentation works. Okay, so now what I want to do now, let me just get into what I want you to do is, out of these topics that I gave you, out of any of these topics, it's already in your weekly exercise. These topics are already there. You guys just did an assignment. You can choose any of these topics. That just give me a second. I just don't know whether I shared it with you. There's these topics that you just worked on. You told me what the need of these topics are. You can choose any topic that you feel like, or maybe it's not there, but it needs to have a claim. Okay, I just gave you these topics. Each of these topics have a claim, and either you go yes or no. So you've already done that, and because it's going to be easier that way, that's why I gave you these topics. If you want to do a different topic that's not here in the list, that's fine. But what I want you to do, and now let me show you. I just in the middle, I wasn't able to do this, but let me now show you. Based on the Toulmin's model of argumentation, I would, again, lost it again. This is what's happening with Go React today. No, not here. Okay, based on Toulmin's model of argumentation here, as I'm going to make some changes, edit the assignment. I would like, I'm going to create, I'm making this open so that now you're able to, you will be able, you have to be able to debate with each other. So this has to be open, okay? So this is due on the 12th, which is Sunday. Yeah, I'm right. 11, did I put 11:59? I couldn't, and I don't know how to do it now. Why wouldn't? Okay. Yes, here you go. 11:59. Okay, here we go. By 11:59 p.m., I would like you to choose save and close. Okay, here. So I'm actually going to do a recording of this one, and so that, all right. Toulmin's model of argumentation. I would like you to record, choose a topic. Okay. Doesn't let me record it today. All right, that's okay. Is it because of this, or 1 second? Let me just change a few things here. Okay, now it'll let me record it. Okay, just share. Try again. Yeah, no, good. Okay, so this is your assignment. I just discussed Toulmin's model of argumentation with you. I would like you to choose any of these topics that is here, or maybe some other, like some other topic that you would like to pursue. So let me just see whether I can any of these topics. I don't know whether it's going to even allow me to put it, because I think it has a limit. I don't think, but let's see. Here we go. Yep, it did let me. Yeah, save. So I gave you a list of topics that you can choose. It's right here. If you want to choose something else, that's fine too. No problem, as long as you have a claim, and as long as there's a definite yes or no to the question that you'll be asking. And what I want you to do is, I just discussed Toulmin's model of argumentation with you. Every argument has data, it has claim, it has warrant, it has backing, it has modifier and rebuttal. So I would like you to use it the way as long as the way you deem it fit. I would like you to create an argument, choose a topic. This whole speech needs to be a 3-minute speech. So this is the first time you did a 5-minute speech so far, but this speech is going to be a little lesser. It's going to be a 3-minute speech. So create your argument. Make sure that it has data, claim, warrant, backing, modifier, and rebuttal. And again, don't make your argument sound, this is my evidence, this is my claim, this is my warrant, this is my, you can do that, but when you're doing your rough, you're writing it down, and then I would first of all write down my argument, and then figure out, once you've done that, figure out, oh, well, do I have a is this my evidence? Check. Is this my claim? Check. Claim is obviously, you will know what your claim is, but is this my claim? Check. Is this the reason? Reasoning? Is this how I'm reasoning? This is how I'm jumping from my claim, from my data to the claim. Yeah, I do have this reasoning there. Check. Is this what my backing is? Is this how I'm supporting my reasoning? Yes, I think I have enough to say that enough reason to say that my backing is that my warrant is correct. Check. Is this how I'm showing the strength of my argument? After careful consideration, most probably 100%. Yeah, I think I did. Check. Modifier. Do I have a rebuttal in my argument? Yes, I do have a rebuttal. There's this. There you go. There's my exception to the claim. Check. All right. So you have all of that, and you don't have to. Again, I'm telling you, when you're writing your argument, you don't have to say this is my data. This is my. You have to have it all there, and then internally, when you look at the argument, make sure that you have all of that. Okay. And that's it. And it has to be 3 minutes. So I would probably have about 500 words. And again, depends. Please don't go by the length of my, the word length, because you have to know, you may be a very fast talker, a slow talker. I don't know, but I would say 500 words for 3 minutes is an okay estimate. All right. So yeah, so you need to do this, and you need to turn it in by December 12th, 11:59 p.m. All right. So I'm going to finish here. Post. And I will now, I know this whole, you probably had a lot of talking from me today. So the video length, I wanted to make it short, but this is the best that I could do. I don't get to meet you all, so I need that time to talk. So that's it, class. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, call me, talk to me, text, whatever, however it works. I will see you on